You, people managers, you think your work is very important? That your organization would fall apart without you? Yet people that you manage might secretly think that managers just stand in the way of getting things done. Believe it or not, being a manager is actually more of a science that Google decided a few years ago to turn into a full-blown research project. Why? Because Google is a little bit like the Hermione Granger of the tech world. They're not satisfied with just having an excellent rating, they want to be outstanding. In this video, we're going to talk about whether managers are important for the performance of an organization. And then we'll work out how Google analyzes the data to extract the 8 most important factors for being a good manager. Part 1 today will cover the first 4 dimensions, and next week I'll cover the next 4. We'll explore the theory behind each of those dimensions, and we'll give you some practical exercises to flex those people manager muscles. And also we'll outline what are the benefits that you get from practicing those dimensions. Grab your wizard wand or your coffee or your tea, whatever magic potion that works for you, and let's get right into it. Hey there, my name is Greg. I'm a master coach helping people, teams and organizations to know themselves, to design their future selves, and to become their future selves. I'm here to help you live a life where you have control. Project Oxygen wasn't about designing the perfect oxygen molecule or figuring out how to make a plant grow on Mars. No, Google aimed its massive brain power to something a little closer to home. Project Oxygen was launched by Google back in 2008. That's right, that's the same year where the first Iron Man movie came out. Tony Stark was building an Iron Man suit in a cave while Google was, well, building better managers in a well-lit, air-conditioned office. Why did Google take this on? Because they recognized that while they had some of the best minds in the world working for them, at the same time, a bad manager could be like their kryptonite to their Superman. And nobody wanted to work for Lex Luthor. First, they analyzed the data to see whether managers actually made any difference in terms of performance of the team and also happiness of the people working in different teams. And the answer was a resounding yes. The correlation was proven between a manager performance and also what would happen in the team in terms of performance and happiness. So you can feel reassured if you're a people manager, you actually do serve a purpose. Then they analyzed tons of data, and we're talking about performance reviews, surveys, feedback systems, etc. to distill, to find what was the essence of those better managers than the worst ones. And voila, they come up with the 8 key behaviors that would transform any manager into the Aldous Dumbledore of leadership. Once they had proven this and they had shown the data to all the Googlers, and the Googlers, well, they accept data if it's well presented and if it's good data, then it was all about improving the manager, helping the managers through those 8 key behaviors. And there were other aspects that were important for Google when they did this research. It was also to give employees a shared vocabulary to discuss management, to be able to say, okay, this is not vague anymore, we're going to talk about the same vocabulary when we talk about management. It was also to offer employees managers straightforward guidelines to help them improve. And it was also to understand and encapsulate the full range of manager responsibilities. And yes, they significantly improve the scoring on those 8 key behaviors for the bottom managers across time, which in turn improve team outcomes, employee turnover, and satisfaction rates. Okay, let's dive in the first dimension today, which is about being a good coach. And no, I'm not talking about yelling at your team from the sidelines while you're chewing gum and wearing a baseball cap. In the corporate world, being a good coach is about empowering people to unlock their potential. There are different ways you can become a good coach for your team. The first one is to learn to listen better. There are different levels of listening that you can learn, and that will help you tremendously to understand your team better, each individual better. And if you want to learn more about becoming a true powerful listener, then check this out. The second way is to ask powerful questions. The point of coaching is not to give the answer to their question to your people. It might be very tempting, and that's what we all do naturally. We want to give solutions to people. But here it's to help them find their own solutions through giving them perspectives and make them think about different ways of looking at the situation. And the best way to do that is to learn to ask powerful questions. You want to learn more? Check this out. Another way is to use existing coaching models to help you. The coaching model can help you to know what type of question you want to ask for different type of situations. One example is the GROW model, which is pretty much the granddaddy of all coaching models. It stands for goal, reality, options, and will. The aim is to help your team members articulate their goals clearly, assess the current reality, explore various options, and finally find the will to take action. Check out the link in the video if you want to learn more about the GROW model. One simple model is also coming from Michael Bungay-Stanier, who is a fellow coach and he's written a book which is called The Coaching Habit. And he has a few simple questions which are very powerful in any type of situation. The first one is, what's on your mind? It's an open-ended question which is helping the person that you're coaching to basically bring the topic of the discussion to the table, to make them focus on what's really bothering them at this point in time. The second question is, and what else? It's also called the O question, AWE, and what else? This is about prompting a deeper conversation, prompting the person to go deeper into understanding what is the root cause of their problem. It keeps the conversation going and it helps reveal additional elements of this problem that we're talking about and that will shine a light on the overall problem. The third question is, what's the real challenge for you? So now that the person has given you a whole perspective about the problem, this question helps to actually narrow down to what's most important, what are the most important challenges out of this issue, and what really requires attention. The fourth question is, what do you want? This is to come back to, okay, well, now we've talked about the problem, but what do you really want? What is the target that you have? What is the end result that you would like to achieve? So we can focus on that. The fifth question is, how can I help? This question encourages the person you're coaching to make a direct request out of you, to clarify the roles that you can be having to help that person. The sixth question is, if you're saying yes to this, what are you saying no to? People can take a lot of different actions out of the previous question that you've asked. What's important though is that there's only 24 hours in a day. People shouldn't be taking too much on their plate. So this question forces to understand the trade-offs of what the person is taking on additionally and what they should stop doing to be very focused. And the final question is, what was most useful or valuable for you in this? This is about reflection. It's about making sure that the person sees the whole path that they've taken through the conversation. They take stock of it, they reinforce it, and they reinforce the positive aspect of the behaviors that they want to take in the future, that they confirm the plan that they want to take. And it's the best way for them to develop just a little bit of wisdom, a dash of empathy, and a whole lot of patience. You like this video so far? Then you know what to do, and also subscribe to the channel, put the notifications on if you want to receive content like this every week. And if you want to dig further into this topic of Project Oxygen and what makes the best managers, then check out in the video description for all the links and YouTuber videos. You shall not micromanage! You remember Gandalf and the Balrog in the movie The Lord of the Rings? Here we're talking about empowering teams and not micromanaging. There are a couple of psychological needs that we all have, that every human being have, and that we need to have respected. We need to have them live through so we feel happy. One is autonomy, and the other one is a desire to have competence recognized. So if you're a manager constantly correcting someone, or if a manager is doing that with you, then your sense of autonomy is very much reduced. You feel like you have no autonomy effectively. And that will really get on your nerves pretty quickly. And also you don't feel competent. You have the feeling that constantly you're being corrected, so you have no competence. That's not fun either. In contrast, empowerment is like your cool uncle who is giving you the keys to the vintage cars and go and say, hey, go explore. But then he tells you, well, within the speed limits, of course. The idea is to step back, so you let your team do the digging, so you don't get your hands too dirty. Here's a simple practice. Delegate, don't dictate. Hand over a task, but not only the task, also the decision making that is coming with the task. At the same time, be supportive, because people might not be as competent as they need to work on the task. The coaching habit question that we had before, which is, how can I help, can be very useful at this point. Another way to empower is to learn to be trusted by your team and to trust your team. This also massively accelerates what you can achieve together. If you're interested in knowing what are the certain behaviors that you can practice to build trust around you and for yourself, then check this video out. Empowered teams are engaged teams, and engaged teams are as productive as a hamster on a wheel. Okay, there might be a better metaphor here. We're talking about creativity, job satisfaction, and even that golden egg of business, which is innovation. Because let's be real, no one has ever discovered a new continent who is sailing close to the shore. So let them sail, let them explore, and let them make mistakes too. If your workplace was a vegetable garden, well, stay with me here, you would not want to just have potatoes in it. You'd want to have carrots, tomatoes, cucumbers, and maybe even that misunderstood vegetable, the Brussels sprout. Diversity is the spice of life and business. Imagine a room full of yes people. One opinion usually prevails, the one of the boss. An inclusive environment is the antithesis of that. It's where different perspectives come together to create something which is greater than the sum of its parts. And that's where comes psychological safety. This is a magical potion that helps people to feel that they can express themselves, that they can ask questions, and also that they can make mistakes. This happens to be the number one predictor of team effectiveness according to another project that Google did, which is called Project Aristotle. If you want to know more about Project Aristotle, then check out this video. You remember the active listening and being a good listener that we had in the Be a Good Coach dimension? The same apply here, so you're getting a 2-for-1 type of solution. Also make a conscious effort to give everyone in a meeting a voice. Perhaps you can initiate a round robin where everybody gets a chance to express themselves. Trust me, it's a bit like opening a box of assorted chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get, but usually you get something very sweet. Or do an exercise where you share your personal core value. This is something which is very powerful in terms of building deeper relationships between team members. If you want to know more about how to do this exercise, then check this video. So what's in it for you? Besides getting only potatoes in your garden, you're getting an awful lot of benefit. You get again higher employee engagement, you have a lower turnover usually, and also you get a tapestry of different ideas that will take your team to wherever you want, even to the moon. Being productive and results oriented isn't just about ticking off boxes. It's about creating real value. First, let's address a common misconception that we all know about, but we still roughly believe in it. Being busy does not really mean that you're being productive. The real focus should be on high-impact activities which are driving tangible results. Think of it as sculpting, to chip away the unnecessary parts so you get to the core and revealing the true value underneath. The key tools for this approach include effective time management and effective delegation. Remember that prioritization is the cornerstone of productivity. Let's get into some actionable steps. One useful framework is the Eisenhower matrix. This helps you prioritize tasks according to their urgency and importance. Another tip is the 2-minute rule. If a task is taking less than 2 minutes to complete, then tackle it right now. It's a simple way to just get through your backlog without having a big list of things that is weighing on your mind. And if you want to learn more about mental models, which are all about how you can best prioritize your work and your life, then check this out. So what are the advantages of being productive and results-oriented? For starters, it leads to more effective resource allocation and more job satisfaction. Plus, meeting and achieving goals, getting to results is something that we all want to have. It's part of being human. And it's really the motivation in itself for the team. There we have it, part 1 of our deep dive into Project Oxygen from Google. Today we've unpacked 4 critical dimensions of effective management. Remember that knowing them is not enough. Now what you need to do is go and practice some of the exercises which have been given and make sure that you apply them every day so you start to change your behavior. I will leave you with a quote from Henry Mimsberg, who is a famed Canadian professor of management. Management is, above all, a practice where art, science, and craft meet. If you're a new manager, I'm pretty sure that you found this quite interesting today, but you might also be feeling a number of stresses that you are having with your job and that you don't really know how to tackle. If you want to know more about how to tackle those different stress factors, then you might want to check out this video here.